Hey everybody, welcome to a weekly update for Living Stones Church. I'm Kirk and one of the pastors, and I have with me today Heath Kemper, one of our other pastors. If you don't know Heath, he is technically a lay pastor, a bivocational pastor, but also he serves a few hours a week in helping us with various things, administration, audiovisual, all of those kind of things. And so, Heath, happy to have you here this week. First time on the podcast.
Yeah. Good to be here.
So Heath's you're usually on the other side of the video screen, so to speak, right?
That's true. This is weird.
Yeah. So there's a few reasons why Heath is joining me today. Number one is I just don't like to be alone. I like to have a friend around me when I'm doing these. It feels awkward to kind of just talk to a camera, and so I'm super grateful that you're here. And the other reason, there's some things that Heath will be involved with that make it relevant for him to be here. And I also think, thirdly, it's good to just highlight other pastors, and especially our lay pastors. We maybe don't get as much like screen time, so to speak. Or I know for a while, and this is a funny story, I guess, when we were merging as churches from Cole and New City, you were playing in the band and you were like in the back where the lights weren't, and so people didn't really know who you were for a while.
Right. There were several weeks where people were asking who the other New City pastor was, and I'd been on the stage almost every week.
So anyway, all of us as pastoral team love Heath and are thankful for his gifts. I'm thankful for you, so thank you for being here. And if you don't know him as well yet, please get to know him. And in fact, this Sunday we're having Pastor's Coffee. We've changed it to where we're just going to do it the first Sunday of every month. And if there's one or two people that don't know our pastors and whatever pastors are available, just join us in the coffee room afterwards, and you get to know Heath, myself, other people who are serving the church. So with all of that said, we are here to do a little bit of like an update and then talk through some things. First thing maybe is we each had a different perspective and view of the baptisms this last Sunday, right? I was like helping to lead them from the front, and you were helping to lead them from the live stream and some things like
behind
that.
The cameras during the baptism.
Yeah. So, I mean, what did you think about our baptisms? I thought they were good and just a joyful time, really, like beautiful.
Yeah, no, it's cool to see people's excitement and to be at that point in the life of our new merged church where we're getting to start to see people making that step of being baptized. And we actually have a few more people who are planning to be baptized in September.
That's right. Yeah. So September 13th is our 1-year anniversary that we're celebrating from our public launch last year, and we're going to do at least 3 more baptisms. So if you have a child or yourself, if you want to be baptized, that's an opportunity there. It's going to be part of a big celebration of being a church for 1 year. In fact, just thinking about baptism, one of the things that we prayed for before service on Sunday was actually we prayed for our kids because we had a family service, and we prayed. I think you were in there. I can't remember, and I don't remember who prayed this, but somebody prayed like, Lord, use this service to like kind of be like a seed in the heart of the kids or whatever. And I was talking to one of our GC leaders on, I don't know, someday this week, Wednesday, Thursday, and he said they went home on Sunday night and they basically like had like a little family time of talking about the baptisms and church that day. And he said, what did you guys think? And one of the kids said it was inspiring. Now I think on one level, obviously baptism's more than just inspiring, but I think it's beautiful that a kid would say that. I don't know. What do you think about that? Anything to add or anything to add about the baptisms?
No, I think that's cool. Like I said, it's cool to see our family, our church family, getting to take those steps and grow in that, obedience to Jesus' command. Yeah. And yeah, it's just an exciting season to be in where we're getting to see, that kind of growth.
Yeah, amen. Okay, so we're going to release this video 2 weeks in a row. So if you get it next week, then it might not be as relevant that we had baptisms last week. But anyway, it's something we want to celebrate and mention. So really, let's just talk about some things coming up. A few things here, really. So June, we've got our series in Exodus still happening. This week I'll be preaching on the Passover. Then we're going to have a week where it's like Pharaoh chases God's people. And then we'll have the Red Sea. And then right after that, really, you're going to close out this first section of redemption for us on just the song of, is it both Moses and Miriam, right?
Yeah, it's Moses first and then Miriam kind of right after. And so we get to talk about how we respond to God's goodness in corporate worship, and what we can take from that passage to help us think about how we worship as a church body now.
Yeah. And people that weren't part of New City don't know, you had written a whole philosophy of worship ministry over there, so which I've read. It's just really good.
Yeah, and you might get to hear a few little pieces from that.
Yeah. So looking forward to that. Heath will be preaching. I think that's June 28th, right? But before that, on June 21st, it'll actually be my last Sunday for about 4 weeks. I'm going to be preaching on Father's Day. And then just a reminder, we're going to have root beer floats for dads, like a photo booth for dads to take a picture with their kids out back. And in that play area, this is what we did last year, and people really enjoyed it. Basically just have some root beer floats and kids can play in the play area, and just a way to kind of have a little fun time for Father's Day. So that's going to be good. And that'll be my last week here. And then I will be gone for, like I said, 4 weeks, which if you don't know, the reason is because I'm going to be going on a short mission trip, then having a little bit of time with my wife. And then I'll be preaching at Livingstone's Reno on July 19th. So, because of that, one of the main reasons, as I said, that Heath is here is because we just don't want to not care. We don't want to leave the church in a place where it's not cared for. And obviously, one of our pastors, Josh, is on sabbatical, our other staff pastor, and I'll be gone. So we've decided as an elder team to basically hire Heath for 3 weeks full time. I think when is that again? Did we set the weeks? I can't remember.
I think just starting after Father's Day up through, I think just after 4th of July.
Okay, yeah. So 3 weeks where I'll be gone for 2 weeks, and then Josh will be coming back on July 7th or so that week and be preaching on July 12th, but then you'll be able to kind of help him transition in.
Right, yeah, I'll be there a good portion of that week to kind of help him get back up to speed and hand things off.
Yeah. What, are you excited about this? We talked about this earlier. Is excited the right word? I don't know. How you
I'm interested to see, how things go. My role has been very part-time at New City and then now at Livingstone's. And so I haven't had the experience of just getting to be, at the church full-time and doing the kind of daily operations piece. It's been much more just kind of task-based. So I am excited to see from that standpoint, kind of just to get to have that experience and care for our body, that way while you and Josh are both out.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So if you have any problems or issues, Heath is your man those 2 weeks. So thank you for being willing to serve. It is a help to our church. So so then moving into July, just a couple quick things. So first of all, it's kind of good timing where I'll be gone actually on mission, and then we'll have Hernan de la Cruz, who is one of our global partners working in Catalonia, Spain. He'll be here preaching on July the 5th, I believe. And then we'll have another one of our partners, a seminary professor in Costa Rica, Doug Gamble. He will be preaching on July 19th. And we'll also have kind of vision lunches is what they're called after the services are the gatherings on July 12th and July 19th. And so I guess one of the things I wanted to say is, you haven't got to know these guys very well.
No, I haven't gotten to meet either of them yet.
Yeah, so this is an opportunity, right? Mm-hmm. And I think that's probably the case for a lot of people in the church now. They don't know who Hernan and Joan de la Cruz are. They don't know who Doug Gamble and his wife Laura are. And I think I would just say, I don't know, do you think it helps build the unity of the church to have them there? And would you put kind of your stamp of approval on encouraging people to maybe from the New City background to come and get to know them better? I guess would that be important, you think, for our church to kind of build unity?
Yeah, no, I think it's good, especially from the perspective of, one of the ways that we talked about the church merger a year ago it's a little bit like getting married. And in those early years of marriage, you get to have that experience of meeting all of your spouse's extended family. And sometimes that kind of comes in waves. It's not always at the wedding. And so I'm kind of looking at this as a chance to get to meet some of the extended family that's now, a part of our church family, who I haven't gotten the chance to interact with or kind of get to know yet.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's a good analogy. So I would just say, like, part of our heart in this month is to say, like, let's have a month where, if you didn't know, global mission is very important to a lot of people in this church. I know actually you've got experience in that too, in Japan and other places. And, yeah. So, I mean, maybe just for a minute, what do you see? Why is global mission important? I didn't prepare you for this, but I'll put you on the spot.
Yeah, I'm on the spot. I think in my experience, it's been really helpful just to gain perspective. You get to see, first of all, how people are following Jesus in the midst of other cultures and other economic conditions, and just the range of ways that you can see what it looks like to be a faithful follower of Jesus in different contexts. And I think that's given me just a wider perspective for the importance of being connected with believers in other places, and also of recognizing the importance of bringing and helping to contextualize the gospel to places where people may not have as easy of access to it as we do here in the United States.
That's really good. Yeah, it teaches us so much. Like, that's awesome. I find that, like, that value of being kind of a global church, if you miss it, then I think your focus just gets more narrow, and I think it can be even more, just you end up being a little myopic, in even could be in theology, could be in practice, could be in lots of ways. So I think what you're saying is very helpful. So that month, July, we're trying to make this like a global missions focused month, and it will end with a Wednesday night all church gathering on July 22nd. And so, we've had different types of focus on these Wednesday night things, and some of them have been executed well, and some of them, I think there's been some feedback where it's maybe been hard to engage. And so I just wanted to say to our church, and we've talked about this, that we are continually growing to try to do things well, to communicate them well, to plan them well. I mean, we've now, as a staff, looked ahead all the way through the end of the year into January. We're planning our major events and all of those kind of things. And so we're really trying to do a good job. And so hopefully, by God's grace, like, this one will go well on Wednesday, July 22nd. And I just say that, like, you should, all of our GCs and our members should come, because that is going to be a time where we're able to focus on global mission. You'll hear some content about global mission. I'll be able to give an update right off the field. At least one of those partners will also, who are there preaching, will be there to share a couple things. It will be less discussion based and more like maybe some content with Q&A. We're going to work through that a little bit, but anyway, I guess overall I'd say, like, don't give up hope on those Wednesday nights. We won't do one in the fireside room again. It was kind of loud in there, wasn't it? Yeah,
it's hard to talk in there.
So yeah, we're gonna try to do those better. Would encourage you to come to that. And I just want to state once and for all, like, global mission is a very important value to our church. We will hopefully in the next month be getting the website up for LS Global, which is our new mission agency that's birthed out of our church's history and all that kind of stuff. So yeah, it's just, I want to encourage people, like, if you've been part of, like, global missions in the past, don't give up hope. And for younger people to say, like this really can help your discipleship with Jesus. Like, let's at least give it a shot of, like, coming together and thinking through that. So
yeah. And what would you say to people who thinking about New City and New City's involvement with Acts 29, where the primary model is church planting, which we also value as part of Living Stones, but somebody who has maybe thought about that as the primary way that a church makes disciples is through, internal discipleship and church planting, and maybe hasn't thought about global missions really way more broadly than that.
Yeah. No, that's a really good question. I'd say like the majority of our partners, whether it's partners who were part of Cole that now will be part of LS Global, or our partners that were kind of inherited through New City, or others that we're developing, all of those, well, not all of them, the majority of those would be involved in church planting, And so, and the ones that we do church to church, still we'll have our Living Stones church to church partnership. So that would be like right now Doxa in Coeur d'Alene. That would be Christ Church in La Grande, Oregon. That would be Adullam Church in Timișoara, Romania. There's a global one. And then from the other side, from Live Sent Global, which was Cole to the World before, there's like Hernan and Joan de la Cruz in Catalonia, their church in La Garriga, that section of Catalonia outside Barcelona. That's a church-to-church partnership as well. So all I'd say is like, and I could go through all of them. I won't do that here. But that is all church-to-church partnerships, or supporting people who then are caring for church planters, or in the case of like Doug Gamble, he's teaching at a seminary to equip church planters. And so we still believe that like the church is the main way to expand the kingdom of God globally, but then even short-term missions, like that plays into it because like when I'm going this year, we're going and we're working with local churches that are in the context long-term. We're not just going because like, hey, I want to go on a trip, which sometimes Christians do. And that's not bad to take a Jesus vacation and like help out people as well, like to sanctify your vacation to do some service. That's fine. But we're going at the specific request of, some people, and so I don't know if that helps at all, but
yeah, I think so. I think that's helpful context.
Yeah. So I'd say with that, for our global missions, just know that like you do play a part. You play a part in prayer, play a part in giving, play a part in going. I'm hoping, I can't guarantee this, but I'm hoping that by July 22nd, we can actually have the 1 or 2 trips we'll offer next year presented at that night, so that if people do want to go, not, again, just out of our own kind of wanderlust or fancy, but if we want to go and be part of a serving team, which again, I would encourage people to do this, because there is such power in seeing the partners you're working with in their context. If we could put together a couple small teams, families going on mission together, even if we could do that, then that gives you a whole year to plan, basically, and a whole year to save money, to pray, to see God provide, and to fundraise if that's appropriate. And so I'm hoping that will help equip our church, again, not feel like things are like last minute, like, hey, going on a trip next week. I think that will help, so yeah. Okay, we probably better wrap this up. We've been going at it for a while.
Yeah.
So last thing to mention, August, we have just one thing I want to mention, which is the Flourish Gospel-Centered Parenting Seminar. Actually going to be working with a guy named John Whitaker. Keith, you have kids, or I called you Keith. Heath, you have kids.
It happens sometimes.
Yeah. I guess maybe just as a pastor, as an elder, like maybe one quick comment on like, why would this be important for families to be involved with from your perspective?
Yeah. I mean, one thing I've been thinking about as a dad lately is, I mean, it's kind of been ongoing for most of the time I've been parenting, but, as a family, how do you create an environment where you're raising your kids to be disciples of Jesus, and, reading and listening to different things along those lines, and just recognizing how much of it is in just modeling what you do and how you live and the rhythms of your life. As opposed to what you're saying. I mean, what you're saying is important too, but it's what you do that is really going to stick with your kids. And I mean, I think that's been my experience as a child with my own parents too. And so just thinking, how do you structure your family life in a way that you're raising your kids to think about things in a biblical way and to respond from that worldview, when, especially as they're getting bigger and are confronted with other kind of challenges and different narratives to believe from the culture. How are you giving them the tools that they need to follow Jesus faithfully as they grow?
That's good. Yeah, thank you. Yeah, so we're not saying that this particular seminar is going to answer everything and be great, but it's an opportunity to maybe focus in on parenting and say like, hey, let's take some time to think through some of this. We have a guy named John Whitaker who's written a little booklet called Raise Them to Flourish. He is going to be there. I was able to plan out the sessions. He'll do 3 sessions. I'll do a couple sessions. I'm at the point where my kids are all older and I'm seeing the good and the bad, like in, not in them, but in the way that I parented, and I'm just like, sorry guys, I should have done that better. Being praise God, like, they're following Jesus. So hope you guys will join us if you're parents. It's very important that if you have like a new baby, prepare now. Like I always say, man, you got to study to get a driver's license, but you never have to get like a license for getting kids. And I think that's probably a little bit misshapen in priority a little bit. We should probably like do a better job of preparing. So we'll have a resource table there. We'll recommend some things. It'll be a weekend just to kind of catalyze that. So invite friends. We'll have a registration up soon. And and then like I said, that's pretty much it for the summer. Thank you for joining me, Heath. It's been
thank you.
Fun. And then the last thing, September 13th, make sure that's in your schedules for our 1-year anniversary celebration. Just really want to give God the praise and say, again, thank you to our church members for being faithful, for enduring through was not a like everyone's choice or normal season of church life to like go through a church merger / church plant with an existing congregation and a building. I mean, there's just so many things. So thank you guys for being faithful to each other and to us as pastors as well. So
thank you.
Yeah. All right. See you soon.